As good and evil karma, causal attribution of joy and suffering. No one can add even the slightest transgression to your karma. So you have to bear your own karma. We'll come down in the next slide. So let me just skip this part on the initial words. I will come straight to the next slide. We all created our retributions, whether negative or positive karmic causes. So the karma will always follow us. And that is, I was just reflecting the other day, and it's been more than a year that I've been in this sharing. I remember when I first started, I tried to explain about consciousness. And if I compare to what my observation of your understanding of consciousness compared to what you have now, I must say you all have grown a lot in your understanding of your of consciousness. So this consciousness in the eight consciousness, the karmic storehouse, is where it will evolve and it will be there. And the seeds that we plant will all be there, whether good seeds, bad seeds, they will be there. And at the end of the day, we will bear our karmic retribution and a form of life becoming. So in this journey and the spiritual practice that we have in this life, we come with a certain blueprint, a design, if you like, that you have taken on yourself. So therefore, that design is meant for us, and nobody can teach you what it is, and you have to realize it yourself. So therefore, when learning the Dharma and try to apply it, that's why it makes the whole experiential learning, that's the one that is awake, that will awaken you, because nobody knows what your karmic blueprint is unless you're an enlightened being like the Buddha or Bodhisattva will tell you what your past life is. So in this whole journey, we must understand this very well, that we have to bear our own consequences. But more importantly, when we walk this path, it's not just accept, it's to learn. Accepting what is coming to you is just a purification. That's not going to gain you wisdom. What's going to gain you wisdom is to learn from that acceptance and to make peace with it. And that's the reason why in this practice, when you grow through wisdom learning, is to grow into inner knowing. And that you can only get that when you have the inner peace within you. So Master went on to say, those who slander the great vehicle principles will fall into hell. And upon emerging from hell, they're reborn as animals. And obviously then you graduate from hell to the animal realm, and then eventually even to the human realm. And even that one doesn't have the affinity yet or the merits to learn the Dharma. So therefore we got to be very, very mindful of that. Then the 10 evil retribution, you all can read about this, okay? So I'll just leave this slide with you later. Master went on to mention about Earth Store Treasury. You all know about this story, right? And so I won't run through the story, but what can you learn from this story? And this is one of the past life of Siddhigarbha. Siddhigarbha is one of 4 great bodhisattvas, and if you go to Cheng Hall, among the three sages, and you got Amitabha Buddha in the middle. Then you got Gan En, and then Siddhigarbha. Siddhigarbha is the in Mandarin is Dijang Wang Bosat. So and you can, from this story you can learn as to how he had the affinity to take that on that vow, that until hell is empty, I will not attain Buddhahood. Now, in the interest of time, I don't have, I wouldn't be able to tell you a lot about this, but just among all the bodhisattva, Siddhigarbha is actually known as the bodhisattva of great vows. Gan En is known as the bodhisattva of compassion. Samantabhadra is known as the bodhisattva of activity and power. And Manjushri Bodhisattva is known as the Bodhisattva of wisdom. And this is the four great Bodhisattva. Obviously, there's a Maitreya Bodhisattva, who is going to be the next Buddha. So all these virtues, the one thing point is that this story, this virtue is to show the power of the vow that one has. So even if when we want to pray for someone, and then you must have the merits, and because therefore it's a purity of the merits and sincerity of the heart of that prayer. That's the one that make it efficacious. So the lessons learned about, sorry, it's 6:52 now, so I'm going to hurry up a bit. So in the story of a fox traveling with a tiger, the fox exploited the tiger's mind. Now, this is part about us being in company with those the powers, and these are, I mean, obviously, if you, the same thing isn't it in our life. We in a company of powerful people will see you that you have very powerful influence. So what happened is that when the company is gone, then one become just a fox, and that's what happens in our life. And so I think this got to me. This is a message that is a very subtle message. So you got to contemplate what this story means to you. Okay, try to contemplate on this. No matter how clever they are, they will still have to suffer the torments. And it was the same thing. Remember how powerful you will be. You will have to suffer your own consequences, and this is karma. So people who do not pass on the true principles, they slander them. They will be cutting on the seed of Buddhahood and severing people's roots of goodness. So we face retributions of the karma we create. So we must create blessings and not diminish them. And it's so in the path, so this path about purification of Master explaining to us what is all these karmic retribution, karmic consequences are. So therefore, we have to walk this path knowingly, but knowingly is actually for you to learn the lessons in life. So much that we learn the Dharma, the most difficult part of it is to learn the lessons of life. The lessons of life are the one that will really tell you the truth about you and nobody else. So unless you realize the truth about your own self, you can still progress in the practice in a way, but you want to get into an efficacious practice, then you got to learn deep, to have this deep understanding of principles, to see who you really are and what you really need to correct. So in contemplation, see what comes beyond death is what matters. And because within this life, and where will you be in the next? And in birth, there's always death. And every one of us is born to die. If in this moment, we are sitting down here listening, what the time is ticking away, and we're all waiting to die one day. So how you deal with matters in life determines the matters beyond life. But then there's a problem. Therefore, matter what matters and leave those matters that do not matter. But in life, if you look back, isn't it the other way around? We matter things that do not matter. But things that matter, we don't matter. And that's the awakening in our practice. So therefore, what matters to you, nobody knows. But it's a life that will tell you. And that's why I mentioned earlier that this is what we have to learn to realize. So matter the law of cause and effect, for it is the karma that follows one upon death. Worldly happiness will end, but so will sadness. But the suffering of karmic retribution stays life after life, and the seeds are disposed of. So matter the sympathetic joy that you give in helping others. And this sympathetic joy It's the joy that you grow in helping others. It's the inner joy that you feel for the attainment or the achievement of others. And that is what sympathetic joy is about. And the sad sympathetic joy is a joy that knows beyond sorrow. Worldly joy is just worldly happiness, and it will always lead to unhappiness. So these are your merits. Remember, I said the power of how well you pray. Those are your merits. The power of your prayers is the merits and the sincerity that one has. They will not be forgotten, however small the goodness is. So therefore, with all these things, purify the mind. So in relationship, practicing from relationship, learn and grow from your relationships. The family must not be regarded as a shield from engaging in a good practice to remove your afflictions. Engaging in the practice, I hear this quite often, okay, in through my spiritual journey, or shield from engaging from your family to fulfill karmic retribution. This one, either one is put this as a shield, or this one shielding the family away from oneself and finding that has an escape. So on the contrary, the family is there to help to fulfill a karmic destiny, and we must never forget this. So whatever that one may be facing. Okay, thank you, Gan En brothers, sister. Thank you.
Gan En so much to our Master Chin for your wonderful sharing.